dear friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now in the previous lecture we have learned about the elimination reaction in the alkyl halides. Now here we are going to learn the Sedgwick rule for the alkyl halides, or it is also called as a Sedgwick's elimination reaction. Now in the previous lecture you know that we have considered those examples in which your halogen atom is attached to the terminal carbon atom and the beta hydrogen atoms were the equivalent one. Now the Sedgwick rule is actually related to the molecules in which your halogen atom is a non-terminal and your beta hydrogen atoms are the non-equivalent one. Okay, now let us consider what is Sedgwick rule exactly. Remember, if there are the two or more non-equivalent beta hydrogen atoms with the non-terminal halogen in alkyl halide, then the reaction gives the mixture of product 1. Okay, so in the introductions I already told you about this one. There must be the presence of non-equivalent beta hydrogen atom and your halogen atom should be the non-terminal atom one. Then this elimination follows the Sedgwick's rule, hence this elimination is actually known as a Sedgwick's elimination one. Keep this thing in your mind. Now let us consider the examples so that you will get the clear idea about the Sedgwick's elimination one. So I have taken the example of your 2-bromobutane here one. Okay. Now in the 2-bromobutane, you know that this particular carbon atom will act as an alpha carbon atom, as this carbon atom is attached to your halogen atom one, and there is a two different groups which is attached to the alpha carbon atom. So I have given this particular CH2 group as an beta 1 and beta 2 for this carbon atom one. So obviously this hydrogen will act as an beta 1 hydrogen atom and this hydrogen atom will act as an beta 2 hydrogen atom one. You know that in the elimination reactions we always treat our alkyl halide with the alcoholic KOH one. Okay, so when your 2-bromobutane, when boiled with your alcoholic KOH, it gives the two different products, as two different non-equivalent beta hydrogen atoms are present here one. So here you can simply observe one important thing. Here if I remove the hydrogen atom or the beta hydrogen atom from this carbon atom, you know that in the elimination reactions hydrogen atom from the beta carbon atom are removed along with your leaving group bromine, and there is a formation of double bond takes place. Okay, now this will leads to the formation of your first product, that is your 1-butane. Okay, that's it. So here actually the beta hydrogen atom is removed one, okay, or eliminated one. Now if this is also the beta carbon atom, now if I remove this hydrogen atom from this position, then we will obtain the another product, that is CH3. There will be the again CH3, CH, double bond CH, then CH3 one. Okay, so we are getting the two different product by the loss of either the beta hydrogen atom 1 or either the loss of beta hydrogen atom 2. The two different positions of your beta hydrogen atom, hence they are called as a non-equivalent beta hydrogen atoms one. Okay, and it is the non-terminal halogen atom also. So we are getting the mixture of product. Okay, either you will remove the beta hydrogen atom, this carbon atom, or either from this carbon atom one. So after removing the beta hydrogen atom from this carbon atom, you will get the product as an 2-butane. Removing the beta hydrogen atom from this carbon atom, then you will get the 1-butane as a product one. So what happens then? Here these two products are actually does not form in the equal proportion one. It is not the 50% product, it is not the 50% product one. So what happens then? Remember, here these Sedgwicks have studied the so many dehydrohalogenation reactions and the elimination reactions, and he given one rule. Now what was that rule, or what is the statement of that rule? Remember, he says that in the dehydrohalogenation reaction, the preferred product is that alkene which has the greater number of alkyl group attached to the doubly bonded carbon atom in that alkene one. That means what? We are getting the two different products. Out of this, one will be the major product, another will be the minor product one. So what it says, only that alkenes are formed which have the greater number of alkyl group. So here one methyl group, this is another methyl group across this carbon-carbon double bond. If we consider this particular product, here you can observe that here is no any other group is attached, only two hydrogen atom and only one ethyl group. So here only one substituted group, here there is a two substituted group. Okay, here only one substituted group. So obviously the number of substituted alkyl groups are more here one. That's why this particular product will be the major product. So here only one substituted alkyl group is here, hence it will be the minor product. Okay, so just keep this thing in your mind. So he have given this conclusion that more alkyl substituted product will be the major product and the less substituted alkyl group will be the minor product one. So this is about your Sedgwick's rule one. Again remember, the number of alkyl substituents increases, then the stability of your alkenes also increases and it gives the major product one. Keep this thing in your mind. It gives the major product. So that I already written here one. This is the major product. And if we consider the order of stability for the substituted alkenes for your Sedgwick's rule, then here I have given this order. So here across this double bond, if you find out the substituted alkyl groups, I have actually given R as an alkyl group. You know that R is considered as an alkyl group. So in this particular molecule there is only one alkyl group. So its stability will be less if we consider regarding this molecule one, or its stability will be less than this molecule one. Now why? You know that there is a two alkyl groups. So the number of alkyl groups increases, stability increases. This is according to the Sedgwick's rule. Again, if we compare the stability of this molecule with this molecule one, here R2, then CHR. So the total alkyl groups are the 3. Therefore its stability will be again more. And if we consider the last molecule, now here there is a 4 alkyl groups, R2, that means 2 alkyl groups across this double bond one to the each carbon atom. Hence the stability order will be in such manner, that is CH2CHR as having only one alkyl group, it will be the less stable than RCH double bond CHR as it is having the 2 alkyl groups, it will be more stable. Now in this molecule again remember it will be more stable as it is having the 3 alkyl groups, that is R2C double bond CHR, and now this molecule will be the more stable. Again remember this molecule, that is R2C double bond C R2 as having the 4 alkyl group, it will be the most stable molecule. So this is about a simple stability order on the basis of the substituted alkenes after the elimination reactions by the Sedgwick's rule one. Remember, the Sedgwick's elimination prefer the formation of highly substituted product as a major product and the stable product one. So this is about the Sedgwick's eliminations or the Sedgwick's rule. So you have to keep this thing in your mind. If we summarize this Sedgwick's rule, so remember in the Sedgwick's rule, the product with a more substituted alkyl group will be the stable and it will be the major product, and product with a less substituted alkyl group will be the minor product and it is the less stable one. So this is actually the importance of your Sedgwick's rule. Sedgwick's rule prefer the formation of highly substituted alkene compounds one. Okay, thanks for watching this video. See you in my next video.